Hello students, welcome to CLARI Concepts, Unleashing Conceptual Learning. Let me show you one image. Do you think this body will be stable, this floating body, the floating ship on surface of water? And if you think it is, because see, whenever you sit on this kind of ship, you travel in this ship, you might get frightened that whether this will be stable or not, right? And if it is stable, till what extent any floating body can be stable, right? Now the answer of these two questions lies in the word called metacentric height. So today in this lecture, we are going to understand how to determine the metacentric height of any floating body, right? And the metacentric height will define whether the body will be stable, whether the body is in stable equilibrium or not, and if it is in stable equilibrium, to what extent the body is in stable equilibrium. All right. So before I move on, I would like to just recall the criteria of stability that we have understood in one of our previous lecture. So if you have not gone through that lecture, I request you to kindly go through the lecture on stability of floating bodies, which I have specifically made you understand in very simple language that what are the different criteria available to determine the stability of a floating body. So I'll just summarize those criteria. There were three conditions of a floating body. One, when body is in stable equilibrium. Another body is in neutrally stable equilibrium, and third is in unstable equilibrium. So now what happens to the relative position of CG and metacentre? So when body is in stable equilibrium, it can only possible when the metacentre is above CG, and rather you can say metacentric height, that is G and M, is positive. Now for neutrally stable equilibrium, when metacentre coincides with center of gravity, that is G, in that case the body is said to be in neutrally stable equilibrium. And when metacentre is below center of gravity, then you can say that the body has achieved a state where it is in unstable equilibrium. So these two are very dangerous states. So when you are designing a floating body, you must make sure the body is in stable equilibrium, as well as the body's metacentric height, which is the distance between G and M. This has to be as greater as possible. More the value of metacentric height, more is the stability of the body. So let us understand how to calculate the metacentric height from any sectional view of a floating body. So let us understand that today. Let us say I have, so we are going to talk about the determination of metacentric height. Okay. Let's say I have the water body or any fluid body, and a floating body floats on surface of water. So let's say you are seeing the frontal portion of the floating body, a very simplified body I have taken. And if you look at the top view of the body, so this is the top view. So if the body you are looking from the front is something like this, and from top when you look it is like this, isn't it? And this is the center line. So the body has CG over here. So center of gravity is somewhere over here, and B, which is center of buoyancy, that reflects the centroid of the body, of the portion of the body submerged in the fluid. So if you talk about portion of the body submerged in the fluid is this much, right? And center of this area, this volume will be this particular point B. Now if I talk about the length of the body, let's say length is capital L in from when you look from the top, right? And then if you tilt the body, let's say by some inclination angle called theta, for example. So let me just draw various points. So G and B are as it is. Now when it is tilted by some angle, you see the shape of the body inside the water has changed. And when shape is changing, the center, that is central of the shape, will also change. That means the center of buoyancy will also change. So now new buoyancy point is B dash somewhere over here, where the buoyancy force acts. And when you draw that as line of action, and when you intersect that with the central line, which was a previous center of buoyancy, that intersection is called metacentre, which we already have understood. So metacentre is the point of intersection of two line of actions of buoyancy. One is before the dislocation, or rather before the disturbance and after the disturbance, right? So now let me tell you one thing. If you look at it very closely, this portion of the body has come out of the fluid, and extra this portion has immersed in the fluid. Now the shifting of buoyancy from B to B dash has taken place because of these two portions. One, earlier this portion was the one where the buoyancy force was acting, but now when it came out of the fluid, the buoyancy force is not acting on this body. So net, if you want to see the effect, I can say that the force is actually acting downward, right? And then if you look at this portion, earlier this portion was outside the water. Now when it has immersed, the force acts in this particular, buoyancy force acts on this particular portion. So you can also say that because of these two forces, there is a shift in the buoyancy point from B to B dash. So now your new buoyancy force acts somewhere on this point, that is BB. FB, right? Now my question is that let us now assume that the angle of inclination is theta. So this angle is also theta. If this is theta, this is also going to be theta. Now let me try to make you aware that when buoyancy force is shifted from B to B dash, the moment by the buoyancy force should be equal to the moment by this extra buoyancy forces through the particular point. So let's say if I take a small strip of width dx at a distance of x from the center line, and this strip, if I draw it over here from the frontal view, it looks like this. So let's say in this strip the force acting is dfb, and also from small strip over here, which is again at a distance of x, the force acting is dfb, right? See why I am drawing the force downward, because earlier in this portion force was acting upward, but now in the new orientation the force has gone out. So that means what, that force will be downward, right? Now the moment due to this extra force from the center line should be equal to the moment by buoyancy force. So let me just draw this to you. Let's say moment by buoyancy force is equals to FB into BB dash. FB into BB dash. So this lecture will be little mathematics intensive, so I request you to kindly concentrate. At the end of the lecture you will get a beautiful equation, and you will understand. If you understand each and every element of that equation, I am 100% sure you will get the conceptual clarity of this particular topic. So this moment should be equal to the moment by the extra buoyancy forces, right? Now what is that? Can I say dFB into x plus dFB into x is the moment, clockwise moment. So dFB into x plus dFB into x, and then integrating this with respect to, let's say, the axis, right? Now if you just continue this derivation, what you will see is BB dash, this is 2 times dFB into x, isn't it? 2 times x into dFB. Now let me just remove this one, because right now it is along x-axis, but then we will change the integral. Okay. Now if you see, what is dFB? dFB is the buoyancy force on this particular fluid element, which is having length L, width dx, and you can say this much arc is what? The distance. If this is x, this is angle theta, so you can say this is x theta. So this length is x times theta, isn't it? This much length. So if you want to calculate the volume of this fluid element, small element, so on that volume the force acting is buoyancy force, dFB. So now for a buoyancy force, what can you say? Can you say this is the weight of fluid displaced by this particular volume? Yes. The weight of fluid displaced means the mass of fluid displaced into G. Mass of fluid displaced into G means density into volume. So density of the fluid into volume, because of the small elemental volume, it's a dV, and then G. This is your buoyancy force. Now rho F, what is dV? Can I say dV is equals to L into dx into x theta, and then G as it is. So this you can just take other parameters outside which are not varying with respect to a length or axis. Rho F is not varying, then theta is constant, G is constant. What remains over here is, you can see x into x is x square, or other 2x square. L into dx, can I say L into dx is this elemental area, the area of this strip. I will put this dA. So let me write L into dx is dA. So this has now become an area integral of 2x square dA, right? So what is this? Rho F theta G. Can I write this as x square plus x square into dA? Now what is this? See, again there is a strip over here of width dx and at a distance of x. So that means this is a second moment of an area of the entire area from this particular axis, right? Let us suppose this is axis yy. So this is I from an axis yy. And what is this area? When you were looking at this particular frontal portion, this is this area from the top, and the area moment of inertia, so this x square dA will be equals to area moment of inertia I from this particular axis of the entire area, this top area, isn't it? Now this was FB into BB dash. So let me continue this. FB into BB dash equals to rho F G theta I. Is there anything else? Yes, that's it. Now what is BB dash? I will put FB in the denominator. BB dash equals to rho F G theta I. And what is FB? FB will come denominator. FB is what? Total buoyancy force. See, FB was total buoyancy force acting on the body, right? Total buoyancy force is what? Rho volume of the body submerged and G. This will reflect the total weight of the water or fluid displaced by the body, the entire the weight, right? That is total buoyancy force. So where VBS is what? VBS is the volume of the body submerged in the fluid, which is this, or you can say this. Both of them will be, volume will be same. So rho F and G will get cancelled. Now what is BB dash? Can I say from previous, from this slide? BB dash, if you look at this triangle, BB dash is what? It is BM into theta. BB dash is BM into theta, because angle equals to arc upon radius. So arc will be equals to angle into radius. So BB dash will be equals to BM into theta equals to theta I upon VBS. Theta will get cancelled. Now you see we are ending up with a beautiful equation. BM is what? BM is BG plus GM. BG plus GM equals to I by VBS. So therefore GM, which you are supposed to find, metacentric height, is equals to I by VBS minus BG. Where what is VBS? It is the volume of floating body submerged in a fluid medium, isn't it? What is BG? BG is the distance between CG and center of buoyancy, which is this two, right, or this two. Then what is I? This is a very interesting part. See, normally lot of people get confused in this I. I is what? Let me make it very clear. I is the area moment of inertia of this floating body from when you look at from the top. So firstly you need to understand which area is you are finding I of. See, this is the body. So if you look at this area, when you cut the body from a water surface, okay, and then when you look the cross-sectional area which has been cut from the top, you will see like this. So this area, so I is the area moment of inertia of this area and from this axis right now. But many a times they will not say that which axis you need to consider. So therefore there are two axes. One is, see, body can be rolling and pitching. So most of the, in always the body is weak in kind of rolling and is strong in pitching. So you will not consider this. So whenever there is an irregular shape given to you, you always take areas. Let's say this is your YY. For example, let me just erase all this. Right, let's say this is the area and this axis is your YY and ZZ. So always make sure whenever you are talking about the stability of floating body, this I should be considered as minimum of both of these, IYY or IZZ, whichever is less. See, because when you talk about stability, the stability is always measured for the weakest motion, right? So normally all the shapes are weaker in the rolling. Therefore, in stability we take the I to be from this axis, because this axis I is smaller than this axis in this particular case. But when you talk about another body, another shape, then you must take I from an axis which is minimal out of this two, which is less out of the two. Okay? So I hope you understood. So you can find metacentric height by these three terms, I, V and BG, where BG is the distance between B and G, center of buoyancy and center of gravity. VBS is the total volume of the body submerged in the water or the fluid, and I is the area moment of inertia of an area which you cut from the water surface and you look from the top, and then you find out from which axis the area is minimal, I is minimal, that I use the equation. Clear? So I hope you understood this particular part. We will look into the numerical portion of this particular topic in the next class. Thank you so much. For more such conceptual videos, you can log into our website for another subjects also. Thank you so much.